Welcome back, gamers. Today I'm going to take a look at the Need for Speed reboot, which has finally hit the PC version. It's been a while and it's been out on the console, but we finally got it, and they added manual in the game, which is nice because everybody who loves racing game wanted manual driving. Of course, the cockpit view isn't in the game yet. Hopefully we'll see that in the future, but overall, let's talk about the game itself. So what took so long for the PC version to come out? Well, they wanted to optimize the game and give players on the PC the frame per second. They wanted to give them 60 FPS and also 4K, and we got all that with this version of the game. It looks amazing. Manual transmission just came out with the game also, and also included on the console version. However, we didn't get a cockpit view yet, so hopefully we'll see that in the future later on. The game is run on the Frost engine. If you've ever experienced any game on the Frost engine before, it is an amazing looking engine, and the game, of course, looks amazing from it. And the graphics, the physics, everything about it looks absolutely phenomenal. There's a rain and weather effect in the game, and also a day and night cycle. However, the rain effects in this game is not as great as Drive Club. Nobody, hands down, can beat the Drive Club rain effect so far. So I'm waiting for a game to do an even more amazing rain effect. The Drive Club rain effect is still hands down king, but it's fairly decent in this game. Most of the game cutscene is played with real-life actors. The cutscenes itself is pretty cheesy at times, and of course the slangs and the fist bumping you'll see a lot of throughout the entire game. I think I've fist bumped all the characters I've seen in this cutscenes like at least 100 times each, because every time you see them, fist bump, fist bump, fist bump, and then there'll be like a little dialogue. I felt it was a little bit cheesy, but that's because, I don't know, the way they written it or the way they acted, it just felt very cheesy for some reason. Maybe it's the camera, who knows, but overall they weren't quite bad. And the story itself, I don't even know what's going on, to be honest with you. Most of the time, I don't even understand what's going on. But hey, racing is racing. Don't care much about the story. Let's move on. Oh yeah, but I definitely want to compliment some of the cutscenes though. You'll see your cars at time in the cutscenes, and you'll see the stickers and everything. You'll be like, hey, that's my car in real life, but you forget that it's the game graphics. So that's how good it looks at times, and the technique used to blend that in is really, really cool. As for the music and the audio in the game, it is excellent. The music is adrenaline pumping, and the audios and sound effects are great. The game takes place in Ventura Bay, and the map itself is pretty sizable. Not as big as some of the other games like The Crew, etc. With this sizable of a map, you'll also be given a chance to do free roaming. There is free roaming in the game. There is things to discover and races to pick up. The game itself will connect you to the server. The server itself seems to be dedicated because I haven't lagged at all in 20 hours of play. One of the downers for this game is the fact that the game is online only, so in order for you to play, you have to connect to the game. And of course, there is no pausing in the game because of this. If you pause, your car will keep moving and hit something. So the car does take physical damage, and as the damage builds up, you'll see your car keeps holding on to these damage until you go back to the garage. The destruction to the car isn't too deep to the point where you can't even drive the car anymore, but it does do a decent amount of damage where you can actually see it physically, and the only place you can repair it is at the garage. Of course, you can also get into a crash with your car. Other than that, there's only one garage in the game, and that's where you tune up your cars, and boy oh boy, there's a lot of good tuning up options you can do with the game, depending on your preference or what type of race you're doing. The preference can be with a lot more grip on your car, so you can grip, or you can tune your car into a drifter. You can drift in this game. It's really easy to pull off, and once you get better parts, you can pull off the drift easily. One of the best features about the drifting in this game is the fact that how the camera angles when you drift, and it gives it that little bit of cinematic effect, which is really immersive. I like to pay attention to those little details in a racing game, especially when you drift. I didn't expect that camera to kick in, but when it does kick in, it just looks damn cool. Aside from just the tuning sliders in the game, you'll be able to switch individual pieces of the engine in the game, from the air takes and the exhaust, etc. And as you do so, you'll hear different noises coming out of your car, which is a really nice aspect to this. In order to do all this, you need the required amount of level, which is unlocked as you play the game, and also the reputation and money to buy the parts. But there's also a lot of customization and paint with the car. You can do a lot of painting on the car and wrapping it with detail the way you want. So there's a lot of stickers and colorations to choose from to customize that car the way you want. And the amount of pieces that you can customize in a car is also really generous as well. Keep in mind though that your garage only holds 5 cars, so you can only have 5 cars, and you gotta sell one if you plan to get another one. Aside from that, there's also a really nice selection of cars you can choose from. A lot of the Rice Rockets. Most of the cars you'll see in this game are a lot of the favorite oldies people use for racing. You'll see stuff like Ford Mustangs, you'll see Hondas, you'll see Mitsubishi, you'll see Subarus, and you'll see the Evo Lancer, and the McLarens, and also the Porsche. So there's a really good, nice selection of cars to choose from. As for the events on the map and the gameplay itself, there's time trials, there's circuit racing, drifting events, and also uphill battles, etc. So there's all these mini events that you can do in the game. Aside from that, the reputations you earn in this game and the money is from these certain events that you do. You can also earn them by speeding and also destruction of the environment. Oh, and of course there is police chasing in this game also. As you progress in the meter, there's more police and more roadblocks, so cop chasing is in. But only the downside is that the fact that the AI is kind of dumb in this game, so getting away from them is not too hard. You can also turn off your engine. Aside from the cop AI being on a rubber band, the AI you race against on the trial runs and also the other races are also on a rubber band AI, but it isn't a great rubber band AI. They kind of missed it a little bit, and thus the game is really easy even on the hardest difficulty races. Overall, in conclusion, this game did a lot better than the Need for Speed movie that came out. This reboot is a really nice touch for the game and also going in the right direction. However, it doesn't, of course, beat Forza Horizon 2 for me because that will always be one of my favorite racing games of all time so far. This game is going in the right direction. It looks really good. It's missing that multiplayer aspect of PvP where you have a lot more racers racing than just teaming up together to beat NPCs or just doing one-on-one. So hopefully we'll see a lot more support for the multiplayer. But overall, it's not a bad game at all. For $60, probably want to wait it off a bit if you're not too big into racing. But if you are big into racing, you're just looking for something to race and play, definitely want to check this game out because you'll spend a lot of hours playing through the single player mode and also challenging the circuits that are in the game. Anyways, thanks for watching and check this game out, guys. Remember to follow, subscribe, and like, and fist bump. Game on.